Let's see what the teacher says. Lesson 1. Learn the characters for these 3-letter words. Come on, 3-letter words? It's going to be easy. Let me take a look. At the first word, what we got? We got 1. It's just a line. Easy. No problem. All right, let's see. 2. 2? Come on. I could write that with my eyes closed. Easy. Let's see what the third one is. U. All right. We got a little bit more going on there. There's some little stuff there, but it's all right. It's all right. It's no problem. Still easy. What else we got? Win. You serious? Hey everybody, my name is Daniel, and I'll be your guide today on Japanese and Chinese characters. If you're like other learners of Japanese and Chinese, you might have had a similar feeling to what I showed at the start of the video. So in today's video, we're going to go over 3 main things in regards to Chinese and Japanese characters. How to read, how to write, and how to remember. As always, you're probably going to want to have some note-taking tools, because you're going to want to follow along. Trust me. By the end of today's video, you're going to be able to write the character you see on your screen right here, read it, and know what it means. Of course, all of that would be useless if you didn't remember it, so we'll take care of that too. Before we get started, I just want to take a quick moment to remind you to hit the subscribe button and press the bell notification button so you get a notification of every time I upload a new video. Remember to give the video a like, and as always, thanks for all your support. The first thing you need to know when you're learning to write characters is that they're words and writing, just like any other language that you know. So everything you see is going to have a pronunciation and a meaning. Now, for knowing how to read the character, it really depends on the context and the language. For example, let's take a look at this simple character. Right? In Japanese, this character is pronounced kuchi, and in Chinese, it's pronounced kou. In both languages, it means mouth. Now, something interesting about this character right here is that it can turn into something that we call a radical. So in Japanese and Chinese, radicals are parts of other characters that give it some meaning, maybe sometimes a sound, or other clues on the character's usage. So let's take a look at this character as a radical. This time, we're going to start with a couple lines on top, and then we'll put the mouth on the bottom. So here we have the mouth, just like this. And then we have something that's like airwaves coming out of the mouth. So can you guess what the meaning of this character is? Well, depending on which language you're using it in, it's going to have something related to speech. So how do we read the character? Well, it depends on which language you're using it in and the context. In Japanese, it's usually going to be pronounced I, koto, or gen. In Chinese, it'll usually be pronounced yan, and you can hear the similarity in pronunciation with 2 of these sounds. Gen, yan. So, where does that come from? Well, the truth is, a lot of words in Japanese or Chinese are loan words from the other language. So in addition to having similar characters, we'll have similar pronunciations and meanings as well. But you can't assume that a character automatically exists in the other language or that it's used in the same way. So when it comes to reading, context is the most important thing. Now we're going to take a look at how to write characters in a little bit more detail. A couple rules to get you started. Usually we're going to be writing top to bottom and left to right. Now another rule is that if you have a box, you're going to draw the box first like this. First you give it the left side, and then the top and right side are one stroke. Then you'll fill in the box with whatever you need in there, and then you'll close the box. Okay. One more thing is if you have any diagonal lines, those can go right to left. You'll have to see which way the stroke opens up. So for example, we might have a stroke like this. Now, every character is going to have something called a stroke order. And what that means is the order in which you write the strokes of the character. Don't worry if you don't get the hang of it at the start. It's important to go to the dictionary and try to find the stroke order of the characters that you want to write and learn them step by step. Alright, so now we're going to try writing the character for sun. If you've got your pencil and paper ready, you can try following along with me. the first thing we're going to do is write our left side here. We're going to draw a cross from the left down. We're going to fill in the box, and we're going to close the box. All right, now we've got sun. Remember, sun can also become a radical in another character if paired up with other radicals. We'll take a look at one of those in just a second. First, we're going to draw another character that looks similar to sun, but doesn't have the same clothing at the bottom. So let's start off by resizing our sun. I'm just going to redraw it real quick. Now we've got our sun. We're going to do the same first stroke, but we're going to make it longer like this. We're going to draw the same second stroke, but also again longer. We're going to fill in the box, and we're going to go close the box right here. Now, the right-hand side is the moon. Kind of looks like a crescent, if you think about it. Now, the truth is, a lot of characters in Japanese and Chinese came from pictographs, meaning that they were designed to look like what they represented. But what happens when you can't represent something with just drawings? What happens when you have abstract ideas? Well, you do something like this. When you put together the sun and the moon, you get bright. So the sun alone is bright, the moon is bright at night. When you put them together, you get the abstract concept of bright. Next, we're going to take a look at the character for king in Japanese and Chinese. So let's get our brush here. We're going to start off with two horizontal lines, a vertical line to connect them, and a horizontal line. Boom, we've got king. If you think about it, if we turned it 90 degrees, it would look a little bit like a crown that you might put on a king. All right, a king's got a crown. Now, what about the thing that goes in the center of a crown? Maybe he's got a nice jewel there. So to change king into jewel, we would just add a little dot right there. Now, think about, what does the king rule over? Well, he rules over a kingdom, but if we think about modern times, we might say that the king is a leader and he leads a country. So if you put jewel into a box, you get the character for country. Now, of course, we wrote this out of order. We should be writing the left side first, then completing the top and right sides of the box, filling in the box with the correct stroke order for jewel, and then closing the box. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we just did it this way. So let's take a look at another way that radicals can be useful for helping you decipher new characters. So let's take the character that we just saw for king. Let's write it down here. Again. Okay. Then we're going to add a couple radicals. We've got this thing up here. We've got this thing on the right, which you're going to recognize as the moon. So this character, you might not know what it means. I wouldn't expect you to. But something that's interesting is that in Chinese, the king by itself is pronounced Wang, and this character as a whole, although the tone is different, also has the pronunciation Wang. So you can tell that, we're going to highlight right here, because we've got the king radical, which preserves the pronunciation of its character and gives this new character a similar pronunciation. So king, Wang, and wish, Wang. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Yeah, knowing all this information is great and all, but what if I can't remember? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a look at how to remember characters. So I'm going to draw a character for you, and I'm going to talk about the way that I think about it as I'm drawing it, and see if you can follow along. First, I'm going to start with a crown on top. I'm going to start with the dot right here. Give it a side, top, and side. Okay. So I said crown looks kind of like a roof. Now, we're going to add a couple lines here. And maybe this looks kind of like a chair, right? The chair has 4 legs, so we'll add 2 more legs here. Now, imagine you sit in a chair and you open up your lips and you're getting ready to eat. So, you've got an open mouth for eating. So let's think about that. You're sitting under a roof. You're sitting on a chair, getting ready to eat. Where might you be? I think you might be home. So this character right here means home. In Japanese, it's pronounced ie or uchi by itself. In Chinese, it's going to be pronounced ja. So, did you catch what we did there? We gave each part of the character its own specific meaning, so that when we see it again, we can know, ah yes, that's what the tips were. So let's go over it one more time. Let's choose, how about orange this time? So we've got the roof of the house. We've got our chair. I'll give you what I'm thinking about. If you think about drawing a chair like this, having a person sit in it, something like that, right? We've got the two extra legs of the chair, and then we've got the open lips of the mouth that are ready to eat. That's how I remember characters. Alright everybody, that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, and I hope you learned a lot about Chinese and Japanese characters today. Let me know in the comments below. Do you feel more prepared to take on Kanji and Hanzi now? I really hope so. Since we're already here at the end, you might as well hit that subscribe button and press the bell notification button. Remember to press like if you liked the video and help other people find the video so they can enjoy it too. And as always, thank you for watching and see you next time.